Tonight, guilty on 34 counts. Donald Trump, now the first former US president to become a convicted criminal.
How the historic verdict in the hush money case will impact the race to lead the free world.
Also tonight, New Zealand slams Australia for changing a controversial immigration ruling.
A terrifying moment for Jetstar passengers as their plane veers off a runway.
And we're live to McDonald Jones Stadium as the Knights go for 5 in a row.
This is NBN News with Gavin Morris and Natasha Bayersdorf.
Good evening. It's a historic verdict that has rocked America. Donald Trump, now the first former US president to become a convicted criminal.
The word guilty reverberated in a New York courthouse 34 times this morning, with the Republican candidate now facing a hefty fine or even jail.
Guilty! Guilty! Guilty!
A verdict that will reshape America.
Count 1, guilty. Count 2, guilty.
Count 33, former President Donald Trump found guilty.
Donald Trump was stony-faced in the Manhattan courthouse as the verdict was read out. Guilty of all 34 counts of business fraud, hush money payments to cover up an affair with a porn star and influence the 2016 election. The first criminal conviction of a US president, a legacy that will haunt him.
We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution.
His supporters had argued he couldn't get a fair trial in Manhattan.
What goes on?
But still, they were shell-shocked.
Should have been televised. Let the American people, let the world see what's going on here.
Cheers erupted in the park across the street.
I'm thrilled. It sort of breaks the spell of his escaping consequence.
But even for those who despise him, it felt bittersweet.
I know regardless of what he does, he's still going to have supporters, so we'll have to see.
The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
The jury overlooked the flaws of star witness Michael Cohen.
So this is a 6-year process within which for accountability to finally be had.
Trump's former fixer, who brokered the deal for his boss with the head of the National Enquirer, David Pecker.
It's a confirmation for me of a lot of things that I suspected were going on and that I thought had crossed a line but couldn't really kind of confirm it in real time.
The husband of former adult film star Stormy Daniels said this was a big weight off her shoulders.
This wasn't her case. She didn't ask for this.
And it was a vindication for the Manhattan District Attorney, who praised his team for following the facts without fear or favour.
The only voice that matters is the voice of the jury, and the jury has spoken.
Donald Trump will be sentenced on July 11. A jail sentence is possible, but unlikely. Few convicts come with a lifetime Secret Service detail.
Until now, Donald Trump's troubles with the law have bolstered his base, but he's now in uncharted territory, campaigning as a convicted felon.
This would be a devastating blow for most presidential candidates. But his son Eric filmed as Trump appeared unfazed as both tears and jeers rained down on Trump Tower. From eldest daughter Ivanka, "I love you, Dad." His family sending public messages of support, except for wife Melania. In New York, Alison Petrowski, NBN News.
So where does Donald Trump go from here? More now from US correspondent Alison Petrowski in New York.
Donald Trump has already foreshadowed an appeal which will take months to play out and will not be wrapped up until after the November election. Within hours of becoming a convicted criminal, Trump announced he would be campaigning once again, this time here in New York at Trump Tower. In 7 hours from now, he will host an event. It's 6 months until the US election and he has no time to waste.
Donald Trump's fate is now in the judge's hands, but he's already using the headlines to supercharge his presidential bid.
Donald Trump is preparing for a fight.
This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Within minutes of the conviction, his website's front page became a fundraising platform and it crashed. He claimed to be a political prisoner, the victim of a witch hunt, and his lawyer is crying foul.
Did your client get a fair trial?
I mean, no.
I don't think so.
Tonight, that client returned to his tower from a campaign fundraiser. The race to the White House now has a convicted felon. And days after Judge Juan Merchan sentences Donald John Trump, the Republican Party will formally declare him their pick for the White House. He also faces 3 other criminal trials. It's unlikely any will get underway before Election Day in November. And if Donald Trump wins, he could pardon himself from 2 federal cases. But he cannot pardon a state charge or conviction, including today's. Polls indicate this will be an incredibly tight presidential race. Just a handful of states will be key. The question remains how much today's historic event will move the needle in the minds of voters. The conviction will likely be used by both campaigns to try and sway those who'll be deciding America's commander-in-chief.
This is a justice system that hunts Republicans while protecting Democrats.
President Joe Biden not speaking publicly, instead posting online. There's only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office, at the ballot box, a message he will likely spread across the country in the months ahead. The Biden campaign declaring the threat Donald Trump poses to our democracy has never been greater. Watching all this closely from afar, an AUKUS ally.
The relationship between Australia and the United States is a relationship between nations, not just between individuals.
Even with a conviction, the 45th president can still be commander-in-chief. If he avoids jail, he can still vote for himself. But state law means he now can't possess a gun or obtain a liquor licence. Tonight, America has a new page in its history books. And at Donald Trump's Florida home, they're flying the flag for a convicted criminal. In the United States, Jonathan Kersley, NBN News.
To other news now, and New Zealand's Prime Minister has slammed the Albanese government for changing a controversial immigration ruling that's led to violent criminals being allowed to stay in Australia. The independent body responsible for overturning visa cancellations today revealed more than 180 have been reinstated since the direction was made.
Long-standing friends across the ditch. But tonight, trans-Tasman tensions are flaring as a deportation deal is thrown out.
We regret the decision that Australia has made.
So we have a good relationship. We had a good chat yesterday. Australia makes our decisions in our national interest.
That decision to rewrite a ministerial direction which had allowed dozens of foreign criminals to stay in the country. The ruling, originally brought in to appease New Zealand's concerns about taking back Kiwi citizens who have broken the law but have spent most of their lives in Australia.
It's not fair that actually we get deportees coming back to New Zealand that have got very little connection or no connection to this country. That's not right.
The Albanese government has bungled this both in terms of the safety of Australians and our diplomatic relations with New Zealand.
The direction also leading to people from other nations with serious offences keeping their visas. The federal government blames the Administrative Appeals Tribunal for ultimately reinstating visas that were cancelled by the Commonwealth. Facing questions today, the independent body took responsibility for those decisions but maintained they were based on the direction issued by Immigration Minister Andrew Giles.
We seek to hear the evidence, listen to the submissions, make findings of fact, apply the law, apply directions and come to a conclusion. You would be concerned that that person could be gunned down on their return to their own country.
Changes promised as soon as possible, but still no confirmation what that will look like. Claudia Radoljak, NBN News.
Bruce Lerman has lodged an appeal against his crushing defamation defeat by Network 10 and host Lisa Wilkinson. In April, the federal court found that on the balance of probabilities, the former Liberal staffer raped Brittany Higgins at Parliament House in 2019. Lerman filed the paperwork at the 11th hour. The deadline to do so was today. New allegations have emerged about what happened after the armed hold-up at Newcastle's Commonwealth Hotel earlier this year. The claims emerged as one of the 2 men charged over the robbery applied for bail.
According to police, just hours after Marley Tiapira allegedly robbed the Commonwealth Hotel, the 28-year-old spoke about the stolen cash. In one phone tap that morning, detectives claimed Tiapira told a person, "You know you got 40 grand, you can have it." And on another occasion said, "I went through 130k the other night." Tiapira and 37-year-old John Jarrett are accused of forcing their way into the pub on February 28, armed with a machete and a baseball bat, before fleeing with just over $124,500. Today, as Tiapira applied for bail, Newcastle local court heard he also allegedly discussed the getaway car and said Jarrett was stupid for not reporting it stolen in the first place. The prosecution also alleged there were phone intercepts where the 28-year-old was conspiring to rob the Edgeworth Tavern. But Tiapira's lawyer, Cameron Duncan, argued there was no DNA or fingerprints linking his client to the crime and that he had explanations for the phone comments, including that the $40,000 was referring to the potential sale of a litter of dogs. Magistrate Robert Stone said he was very suspicious about the exchanges involving Tiapira and labelled the alleged robbery a serious incident involving violence and injury, while ruling there were no suitable bail conditions. Ultimately, bail was refused. The case will return to court next month. Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
A new bench has been installed on the Warners Bay foreshore in memory of domestic violence victims. The Zonta Club of Hunter Newcastle, along with Lake Macquarie Council, created the memorial to honour women and children lost.
It's about providing something permanent within the landscape and to try and prompt people to actually think and reflect and maybe have conversations about domestic.
They also hope the bench will give people the strength and confidence needed to seek help.
Lake Macquarie has a new landmark with the $235 million outdoor concert venue at Morisset taking shape. The stage now has a striking-looking roof, giving locals an indication of what's to come.
It's a shell of epic proportions, 100 metres wide and 30 metres high, large enough to house a jumbo jet. And now white Teflon-coated canvas stretches across the entire roof.
There's still a fair bit of work to do, obviously, you know, the rest of the seating bowl, the lawn space, etc., but it's a huge leap forward.
Once complete in late 2025, the Cedar Mill Amphitheatre will be among the biggest outdoor music venues of its kind in Australia and Southeast Asia, capable of holding 30,000 people.
So we're looking at both the big stadium shows that have, you know, a lot have been through Australia in the recent times, but also the arena shows that, you know, play the Sydney and the Brisbane and Melbourne markets. They'll be able to play here as well.
Developers are now turning their attention to securing a local skilled workforce to support the venue, working with TAFE and the university.
Event managers, production managers, riggers, staffing to actually work on the venue and on shows. But equally, there's a large workforce that we're going to need for both front of house ushers and security.
As for which headline act will christen the venue here at Morisset, Cedar Mill says the wheels are already in motion and they hope to lock in a superstar. Cedar Mill Group recently purchased 2 Newcastle institutions, Muso's Corner and the Olive Tree Market. It plans to establish a second location for the popular markets at Morisset to widen the venue's appeal and enhance the area's tourism potential. Jane Goldsmith, NBN News.
Meanwhile, one of Newcastle's best-known music venues has rebranded, with Lizottes at Lambton now called Flamingos Live. New owners took over last November and revealed the name change at a glitzy event last night.
The heart of the business will stay the same, and it's just the name, really. Yeah. And that's just to put our stamp on it. Yep. No point in owning a business if you can't put your own stamp on it.
The signage is set to change in the coming months. The hunter has rallied around Muswellbrook Rams player Wade McKenzie, who was rushed to hospital after collapsing during a game last weekend. The Rugby League club says he's making positive progress and it's thanked everyone for their support. A fundraising event to help Wade and his family meet medical costs will be held at Muswellbrook Golf Club next Friday, June 7. People looking to donate can also contact the club directly.
Well, it was certainly much milder overnight with all of that cloud moving in throughout today and those northwesterly winds. Small temperature swings, but we still managed the low 20s for most of the region.
Next, finally home, an Australian couple touches down after being injured during extreme turbulence.
Bring back vouchers for families. The powerful new lobby group out to revive the hospitality industry.
And offenders restoring historic graves in a northern Tablelands ghost town.
At Spotlight, save a massive 20 to 50% off store-wide, including Manchester home decor, fabric, sewing, craft, party, curtains and blinds. Yes, that's 20 to 50% off store-wide, so you can create it, decorate it and celebrate it for less. Sale on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
The Sunrise Catch-Up, featuring Macca's Brekkie deals. Get a small hot McCafe coffee and your choice of a selected McMuffin for just $5.95. Get more for your money at Macca's.
With your generosity, the Salvos can help women find a way out of violence and a way back in to a safe and stable life. You can give a new beginning. Please donate to the Red Shield Appeal today.
Meet my boyfriend, Jake.
What's up, everyone?
What is all over your feet?
Your flowers. I study botany.
Resting dad face back there likes plants too.
Grab some pruners. Let's prune.
Dynamo Professional.
Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy. 'Cause I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors.
Oh, wow. Important meeting at the office.
No, I'm working from home.
Dynamo. You always give your best.
I can make everything nice. With Tilda steamed rice, a halloumi wrap, a bibimbap, or leftover Thai in a stir-fry. Red curry, green curry, all the curries. Rice and beans, rice and pineapple. I can beef up a burrito or flavour some fish. Make dinner for one or a banquet for everyone. Go posh or with squash. I can toss it, boss it, pile it up or style it up. Tilda, elevate your plate.
The Ladbrokes Racing Club is giving you the ownership experience. Follow a stable of over 30 runners with updates from leading jockeys and trainers. Ready to feel like an owner? Join the Ladbrokes Racing Club today. It's fast and easy. You win some, you lose more.
Australian minerals companies paid over $74 billion in taxes and royalties in 1 year alone, helping fund infrastructure and services. That's why every Australian has a stake in Australian minerals. Authorised by T Constable, Minerals Council of Australia, Canberra.
The Plush half-yearly sale is on now, with up to 50% off selected leather and fabric sofas, recliners and armchairs. Save up to 50% off at the Plush half-yearly sale. On now.
Think Sofas, think Plush.
The McDonald Jones Freedom Sale is on now with free double glazing, free solar, free kitchen upgrades and more. Plus save an incredible $65,000 off your new home. Find your freedom and start saving with McDonald Jones today. Conditions apply.
Rescue teams are still searching for survivors in Papua New Guinea 1 week on from a massive landslide. At least 670 people have now been confirmed dead, but there are fears for more than 2,000. Treacherous terrain and a lack of heavy machinery are slowing down rescue efforts.
There was a scare for passengers on board a Jetstar flight in New Zealand this morning. Their plane veered off the runway after touching down at Christchurch Airport. A steering issue now being blamed.
A camera rolling as a Jetstar flight touches down in Christchurch. It all appears routine until the aircraft suddenly veers and then skids off the runway and onto grass.
Did we just crash?
Thankfully, no. But for those on board, it was a scary ride.
All of a sudden we kind of
like hit the ground and then they stopped, and then I think we skidded on some grass and ended up diagonally on the tarmac.
You can hear what appears to be the grinding of the brakes as the flight crew attempts to cut short the landing.
It did seem like he was pushing the pedal rather harshly.
The pilot was quick to jump on the PA.
For safety reasons, we've had to bring the aircraft to a stop.
And the airline just as swift to explain the cause of the drama.
On landing, the crew experienced a steering issue associated with one of 3 hydraulic systems failing on the aircraft.
The plane is now grounded after the bumpiest of landings.
I'm from Christchurch and trauma from all the earthquakes, and I haven't been back much since, so kind of was like a welcome home, here's some more trauma for you.
Nerves rattled, but no harm done.
Damien Ryan, NBN News.
An Australian couple badly injured when a Singapore Airlines flight hit extreme turbulence has touched down in Adelaide after a medical flight from Bangkok. Keith Davis suffered lacerations and his wife Kerry a spinal injury, paralysing her from the waist down.
Personally, I feel guilty that I'm able to stand here and walk around and talk to you guys. That's my feeling. I'm coming to terms with that.
25 passengers remain in hospital in Bangkok.
Cuts to payroll tax and dining vouchers for struggling families. A powerful new alliance of restaurant barons says those are the ingredients to revive the lagging hospitality industry as the cost of living bites.
During the Friday lunch rush at Sydney's best restaurants, from Chin Chin in the city to Margaret in Double Bay, well-known head chefs and managers stepped out to form an influential new lobby group as their $64 billion a year industry is hit hard by families cutting back.
2024 has certainly been one of the hardest years for hospitality. Many businesses have said that they're closing because times are harder than they've ever been.
Rockpool's Neil Perry will chair the new Australian Restaurant and Cafe Association, and on the menu calls for the state government to axe payroll tax.
I still can't get my head around the fact you get taxed for employing people. It's crazy.
And reinstate vouchers to stimulate spending.
We certainly will call for the return of the Dine and Discover.
The Treasurer is right now preparing his second budget, but after inflation ticked up this week, it's unlikely he'll have any appetite to take measures that could fuel that fire.
Though the opposition is agitating for cost of living relief.
Dine and Discover was a great program which was able to drive people back into restaurants and hospitality businesses. And of course this government's got to look at what they can do for cost of living relief.
But this vocal group of business owners isn't stopping on Macquarie Street. A staffing crisis has them also lobbying Canberra to make immigration changes and industrial relations reforms. Liz Daniels, NBN News.
A $207 million hydrogen hub at Newcastle's Kooragang Island is a step closer, with the state government granting planning approval. The project, led by Origin Future Fuels, is expected to begin construction in mid-2025.
The Labor government is absolutely committed to making sure that the Hunter is at the forefront when it comes to green energy. I can see us exporting green hydrogen around the world.
The green hydrogen will be used by industry, with the majority going to Orica's nearby ammonium nitrate facility to help decarbonise its operations. That will save the equivalent of more than 52,000 tonnes of greenhouse gas emissions a year.
Well, as expected, the cloud moved in today, and it is an impressive cloud band that has arrived locally. Next is the rain moving in across the west. We've got tomorrow the rain band will make its way across the entire region, contracting north, so clearing momentarily for the Hunter before the low forms. Overnight into Sunday morning, the strong winds and heavy rain will impact the central coast with squally showers and rain periods, heavy at times reaching the Newcastle region. Scattered showers will develop further north. The low will clear on Monday.
Still ahead in NBN News, a man learns his fate for a stabbing outside a Newcastle train station.
The massive convoy through Perth with a message for the Prime Minister.
And a rare update on Princess Kate's health ahead of a key event.
Harvey Norman clearance on now. Amazing Australian-made value in the King Coil Conformer Aspect Queen mattress. Choice of 4 feels only $9.99. Plus, don't miss our pillow frenzy with prices slashed on big brand pillows. Hurry, more clearance deals at Harvey Norman now.
And then they said,
No thanks.
that's right. Because no one should touch you in a way that you're not okay with, even our family or friends. If you're not sure, you can always talk to me.
Every conversation brings us closer to a world without child sexual abuse. Let's end child sexual abuse, one talk at a time. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Morning, Dave.
Hey, Josie. You good?
Can't complain. No one listens.
Oh, I listen. Hey, Maddie. What happened?
Dave, early start.
You know Maddie, yeah?
Yeah. Shippy down.
Didn't know there'd be a traffic jam in here.
When you buy a Ford Ranger, Australia's #1 selling vehicle in 2023, you become part of something bigger. Get into a Ranger XL, XLS, XLT or Sport today. Now in stock at your Ford dealer.
Macca's new Feisty McSpicy range. Things just got feisty.
For young girls, a bed should be a place to sleep, not a place of work.
Morning, Carmen. Carmen, how's our gorgeous granola coming along?
Carmen here added extra joy.
I love it so much.
Maybe dial it back a little.
There's care, and then there's the Carmen's kind of care.
Harvey Norman clearance on now. Save $450 on this powerful Dyson stick vac. Save $500 on the LG Super King size 12 kg washer. Save over $800 on this Samsung Super King 85-inch QLED TV. At Harvey Norman now.
It's time to book your next celebration with us. See you at the Braddy. thebradford.com.au.
Harvey Norman clearance on now. Save on laptops from just $368. Save $130 on the Jabra Elite 8 wireless earbuds. Save $100 on Samsung Galaxy A55. Now only $598. More clearance deals at Harvey Norman now.
The Nick Scali half-yearly clearance is on now with everything reduced across the entire range. Everything is reduced at the half-yearly clearance. On now at Nick Scali.
You're watching NBN News. These are our top local stories. There were dramatic scenes in Nimbin last night when a car spun out of control and left a trail of destruction, including at the town's pub. The North Coast Youth Vaping Task Force has listened to the community, setting out a new plan to tackle e-cigarettes in schools and beyond. Central Coast Rehab Centre, the Glen for Women, is set to welcome its first participant into transitional housing. Walker farmer Nick Blomfield is pioneering a new grazing method to store carbon emissions from cattle in soil, becoming just the second producer in New South Wales to be awarded carbon credits for the initiative. And Lake Macquarie's new $235 million outdoor concert venue is taking shape. The stage now has a striking-looking roof.
A 26-year-old man who stabbed a person outside a Newcastle train station could be released from prison in October. Zach Rolls Fitzgerald was today jailed for a minimum of 18 months over the attack in April last year. He met the 28-year-old victim outside Broadmeadow Station to collect money after earlier supplying him with Xanax and stabbed him once in the abdomen. A judge found Rolls Fitzgerald was remorseful and noted his mental health issues.
Around 3,000 farmers from across Western Australia have made a powerful statement descending on Perth. They're protesting against the federal government's ban on live sheep exports, worried it'll decimate rural communities.
They turned out in droves to send a message. More than 1,500 utes, trucks and tractors descending on Perth, demanding the Albanese government's ban on live sheep exports be overturned.
This is just evidence that the bush has had enough. We're sick of being pushed around the place. We're sick of being dictated to by a federal government that's not listening.
We care for our sheep so much, and we treat them with full respect for their whole lives, and we're just out there to feed the world and make sure everyone gets food on their plate.
Regional people fear the ban will decimate country towns and destroy their livelihoods.
Shearers, truckies, stockies, you name it, it's going to affect communities.
Less people in our communities mean less children in our schools, less businesses in our towns, less people playing sport, and slowly regional communities will just die.
Support from across the agricultural sector, including from people not directly involved in the industry, but the government says otherwise.
We know from surveys that this policy has the overwhelming support of West Australians, so now what we're doing is getting on and delivering an election commitment.
It's clear today just how many people and families this ban will affect. Farmers say they won't give up the fight until it's overturned.
We're hoping this rally gets all the way to Canberra so they know how we feel about this and how much we need it.
An old cemetery in the Northern Tablelands is being restored by a group of offenders guided by community experts. More than 700 graves at Hillgrove have become overgrown since the gold mining town was abandoned back in the 1920s. Community service offenders from Armidale have been tasked with weeding and cleaning up the area.
Kensington Palace has given a rare update on the Princess of Wales, announcing she won't be attending a key military event next month. The King, however, will be at the annual Trooping the Colour, but his role has been scaled back as he recovers from cancer.
Pinpoint precision at a practice for the King's birthday parade. This year, the Irish Guards will troop their colour at the annual event. The Princess of Wales is their Colonel-in-Chief and would usually take the salute at a dress rehearsal on June 8. But in a rare public update on her movements, Kensington Palace has announced Kate won't be attending as she continues chemotherapy.
We wish the Colonel of the Irish Guards the best of best wishes for her recovery, and again the Irish Guards are hugely proud to have her as their Colonel and want to put on a really special show this year.
Trooping the Colour is a spectacular display of the British military, full of pomp and ceremony when traditionally the royal family watched the fly past from the Buckingham Palace balcony waving to crowds. Whether Kate will be at the June 15 event is not clear. The palace has announced the King will take part in the Trooping the Colour event, but the capacity in which he does so will be altered slightly at the advice of the monarch's medical team. King Charles won't inspect the guards on horseback as he did last year. Instead, he'll do so from a carriage alongside Queen Camilla. The adjustment, a reminder that the King remains on the road to recovery from his own cancer battle. In London, Jessica Millward, NBN News.
Australia's internal migration rate is at its second highest level in 6 years, with new data showing the Gold Coast and Lake Macquarie are in the top 5 choices for big city dwellers looking to relocate. And according to the Regional Movers Index, it's millennials who are leading the charge out of Sydney. Some people are also moving from smaller regional areas to larger ones, with Cessnock and Maitland in the top 5 destinations.
Australian shares snapped a losing streak to end the week as a burrito chain confirmed it's ready to make its stock exchange debut. Stephanie Anderson has the details.
Well, Guzmán Gómez, or GYG as it's known, has wrapped up its plans to float with June 20 crunch time for its ASX listing. The chain will enter with a valuation of $2.2 billion. It comes as the market snapped a 3-day run in the red, closing up 1%. Happy hour at Treasury Wine Estates after it ended 2.8% higher. Beaker Cheese also had a win and Woolworths rose 2%. A positive Friday for the Big Four banks too. CBA ended up 1.3%, ANZ 1.15%. And the Aussie dollar had a fairly solid day. It's buying around 66 US cents and 52 British pence.
Australian researchers are exploring a breakthrough treatment for anorexia. Using electromagnetic therapy, the team from Melbourne is targeting the part of the brain responsible for causing symptoms of the eating disorder.
With waves of energy, these researchers are embarking on a world-first trial that could finally bring a cure for anorexia.
If you fire lots and lots of pulses, it changes the activity levels of the brain tissue.
While electrotherapy has been used to treat depression for decades, this is about targeting the brain network that appears to cause anorexic behaviours.
We identify each individual's specific target.
Discovering this specific anorexia brain network was a major breakthrough for researchers. The team from Monash University and Alfred Health identified it in a sample of patients who had all unexpectedly developed anorexia symptoms after a brain injury.
These were healthy people who did not have anorexia behaviours.
When I was struggling with anorexia, I genuinely thought that my brain was hijacked.
Lexi Crouch battled anorexia for 15 years. Now an eating disorder coach, she says the trial brings hope.
It is not something that you are deemed crazy for. It's not something that should be hidden away. There is actually biological reasons.
20 participants will take part in the 10-minute sessions over several months. Then interim results are expected early next year.
We really do need to add more innovative and evidence-based treatment options.
To have made a full recovery from anorexia is something that I wish for everybody in the future.
Now to a farewell fit for a favourite employee. Kmart doorman Glenn was clapped out of the Stockland Green Hills store today after his final shift following 17 years of loyal service. Popular with his colleagues and customers, shoppers helped organise the rousing retirement send-off in appreciation of his friendly nature and impeccable service. Enjoy retirement.
He's popular. Well done, Glenn.
Absolutely. Let's move to sport now.
Jack Howard's with us. The Knights are in for another soggy home game tonight, Jack.
They are, but they are becoming a wet weather specialist. After the break, we're live to McDonald Jones Stadium for the late mail ahead of tonight's clash with the Bulldogs. Also ahead, Cam McInnes prepares for a new role in Origin 1, and the Matildas ready for their second last hit out before the Olympics.
The Amart Stock Take sale has been extended. Don't miss savings of up to 60% across a huge range of bedroom furniture. Plus, get a better night's sleep with up to 60% off big brand mattresses. Hurry, this offer must end Sunday at Amart.
Over 16,500 New South Wales police are out there. And every police vehicle can enforce the road rules anywhere, anytime. Holding your phone while driving? You can stop it or cop it.
Here in British Columbia, we have endless inspiration. These peaks just go on forever. It's the sea of snow and mountaintops, like blank canvases, if you will, for people to go make their marks on.
Start your next adventure now with Subaru, with 12 months free rego and CTP, plus 5 years roadside assistance and a $1,000 fuel voucher on selected models. Hurry, the Subaru sale event ends June 30. T's and C's apply. Subaru, for a world discovered.
For over 10 years, Dulux has protected Australian surf lifesaving clubs, buildings that have survived every Nippers graduation, every scorching day and every stormy night, because nothing survives like Weather Shield. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
Time is running out. The government is putting your free sport on the line. The countdown is on to save free sport on TV. Keep sport free. Go to freeforeveryone.com.au.
This is Simon. When asked what he did over the weekend, he'll say, nothing special. Is hanging out with your favourite people nothing special? Are these pub-style chips nothing special? Simon McCain, there's something special about nothing special.
Best sheds up to 40% cheaper. Double garages, $4,990. Triple garages, $8,600. 4-car garage, $7,250. Our 30% off sale is on right now at Best Sheds. American barns from $8,900. Farm sheds $11,990. Industrial buildings only $18,600. Call Best Sheds on 1800 15 17 18 or check out our range at bestsheds.com.au.
The Plush half-yearly sale is on now, with up to 50% off selected leather and fabric sofas, recliners and armchairs. Save up to 50% off at the Plush half-yearly sale. On now.
Think sofas, think Plush.
Harvey Norman clearance on now. Save on big brand laptops from just $368. Save $100 on this powerful Acer Aspire Lite, or upgrade to Intel Core i7 and 16 gig RAM and save $200 at Harvey Norman now.
Flooring Extra, where a fabulous flooring experience starts with expert service and a beautiful product range that will handle anything you can throw at it. Flooring Extra. It's a fabulous flooring experience.
Newcastle returns from a bye at McDonald Jones Stadium tonight, searching for its 5th consecutive win. Montana Claire is there for us. Montana, the rain isn't deterring fans or the players.
Jack, the Knights are fast becoming a wet weather specialist team. They've won their past 3 rain-soaked games, but tonight's clash with Canterbury is unlikely to be a whitewash. I'm joined now by Assistant Knights coach Blake Green. Blake, thank you for jumping out of the warm-up for us. How's everyone looking? Any late changes tonight?
No late changes. Had a really good week actually. It's been a big benefit since we had the bye. We had a few players that were carrying a few bumps, so everyone's been able to fully train this week and head into tonight unchanged.
The Bulldogs have quite a few out to Origin. I suppose, does that bode well for the Knights tonight?
It gives us a little bit of an advantage, I guess, but they've had the opportunity to prepare for the last sort of 10 days, the Bulldogs heading into this game, so we need to just focus on what we've been doing really well. We've on the back of having four wins, and I'm happy for the conditions to keep coming down a little bit of rain, because we've had some luck in the rain, so it suits our game style, and it gives our players an opportunity to use some of their best attributes in the wet.
And Tyson Frizzell is on the bench again tonight. I suppose, how do you envision him making an impact when he gets on?
Thought he did a great job for us last week. He came off the bench against the Titans and played through the middle and just gave us a heap of leg speed through there, and he tidies a few things up defensively. So we'll look for more of the same from Tyson tonight.
Awesome. Well, all the best tonight, Blake. Thank you so much for joining us. And Jack, all the action from tonight's Knights-Dogs clash will be right after a current affair.
Thanks, Montana. Mitchell Moses admits he felt helpless when Brad Arthur was sacked by Parramatta while he was sidelined with a broken foot. Last night, Moses starred on his return after 10 weeks out, guiding the Eels to a desperately needed win over Cronulla.
Mitchell Moses back, doing what he does best.
Absolute class there from Mitchell Moses.
The halfback, man of the match on his return, pulling the strings for Parramatta in a 34-22 win over the Sharks. But it's what he couldn't control that's been bothering him. Coach Brad Arthur axed as the Eels lost 7 of 8 games while Moses was injured.
Helpless the whole time, you know what I mean? And to have our coach get sacked and, I have no control over it was really hard. I was really close with him and sad to see him leave.
The broken foot also robbed Moses of a start in Origin 1, but he's still hopeful of playing later in the series.
I tried my backside off to come back and get it back early, and just didn't pull up right. But I know myself, I gave it every chance to come back and try to be there, but I fell short. So I just got to play good footy here and see what happens.
Parramatta looks like a new team with their number 7 back.
Yeah, I just felt comfortable. It makes things much easier. I can just not relax on the left edge, but enjoy myself a bit more.
Blue and gold fans and players sharing the spoils of victory.
But I got a bracelet, which I'm pretty stoked about. So is Dylan. Very cute.
The loss, the second straight for Cronulla, who have fallen off the top of the table.
Flat performance, got jumped on energy.
The Sharks did score the best try of the night, a contender for 4-pointer of the season. Will Kennedy starting and finishing the length of the field epic.
Spectacular from the Sharkies.
Luke Duffy, NBN News.
The Blues may be forced to turn to a makeshift half if injury strikes during Origin 1. Ken McInnes is preparing to fill the unfamiliar role ahead of the series opener on Wednesday night.
He might be the most stylish of golfers, but Brian To'o needs some driving lessons. The Blues enjoying their day off, taking time to hit the Lura links, the team leaders playing in the same group. Later it was time for some sightseeing. To'o, the team prankster, off to check out the local area. It was significant Luke Keary was still in camp. He's on standby for Nico Hines until at least tomorrow. But another player may be in line to cover for Nico. First-timer Cam McInnes is shaping as the Blues game day backup. When did you last play in the halves?
I don't know. Against Melbourne a few weeks ago, that my role was sort of to attack there but defend in the middle. So, yeah, comfortable doing that. So you've got to be agile, don't you? Stay agile.
The 30-year-old is ready to take his chance. You've been around the block to get here.
Yeah, I had to have a quick look to see where I sat on the oldest debutants.
Where'd you go?
I think maybe 5th or 6th.
No one has played it tougher. All the bumps, bruises, knocks, cuts, worth it?
Yeah, mate, of course it's worth it to make it here, but playing the game's worth it to me. Like, I love playing, so it's what I've done since I was a kid and dreamed about being here.
And there's a soft side to the new Blues tough guy. He says he owes this moment to his partner Rachel.
Yeah, been with her since before it all started, and she's ridden the highs and lows, and she was so happy. And to see that joy, because what we do, it's hard for the partners. Like, I'm away and even playing footy, living life a certain way, and she has to cop all that. So to actually see the joy for her, that makes it really worthwhile for me.
In the Blue Mountains, Danny Weidler, NBN News.
In less than 2 hours, the Matildas will hit Adelaide Oval for their second last warm-up match before the Olympics. The Tillies looked relaxed on their team walk this morning before tonight's friendly against China. Australia's final game before heading to Paris is in Sydney on Monday. 2 Australians will begin their fight for an NBA championship next week. It comes after Dante Exum and Josh Green helped the Mavericks to a dominant 124-103 win over the Timberwolves and the Western Conference title. Dallas will now take on the Celtics in the best-of-7 series, which starts on Friday. Next, a new ground for an Aussie star. Alex de Minaur makes the third rounder, Roland Garros, for the first time. And a truly epic finish to the Tahiti Pro.
Next stop, chicken and gravy pie.
Get it now from Red Rooster.
The rooster's calling.
From Sunday crunch time to Monday lunchtime. Go big on flavour this winter with our award-winning Coles Boneless Pork Belly Roast. Down to just $16 a kilo. That's great value, hands down at Coles.
You wouldn't know it, but this morning Jasmine was running a fever. A dose of children's Panadol, a good nap and a few hugs from Dad. Now she's ready for everything? Help them back to their epic best with children's Panadol.
Doc, I'm worried my teeth are getting weaker.
Don't worry. Like bones, your teeth lose density over time, but with Oral-B's new enamel densified toothpaste, it rebuilds enamel density to extend the life of teeth. Trust Oral-B for strong teeth for life.
Life. That's what we're here to defend. Standing by everyone living with cancer, protecting life's moments for life. If you need to talk, call 13 11 20.
Do you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Metamucil's daily 4-in-1 fibre helps trap and remove waste. This daily cleanser supports gut health, regularity and traps cholesterol and sugars. Try Metamucil.
Play the new Look Weekday Windfall Lottery for a chance to win $1 million every Monday, Wednesday and now on Friday. With a weekday windfall prize, you could enjoy more moments that matter.
At Optus, helping keep you safe from scams is our priority. Optus Call Stop prevents you from calling back numbers from identified scammers through automated call block technology.
OMF are going all in with the big sale, with up to 60% off all modern, family and signature mattresses. Plus, get up to 20% off selected bedroom furniture and free local delivery. OMF's big sale ends soon.
Disney on Ice is hitting the road and you're invited. Once the fun starts, it never stops. At Disney on Ice presents Road Trip Adventures, Newcastle Entertainment Centre from July 11th. Book now at Ticketek.
Harvey Norman clearance on now. Amazing Australian-made value in the King Coil Conformer Aspect Queen mattress. Choice of 4 feels only $9.99. Plus, don't miss our pillow frenzy with prices slashed on big brand pillows. Hurry, more clearance deals at Harvey Norman now.
The McDonald Jones Freedom Sale is on now with free double glazing, free solar, free kitchen upgrades and more. Plus, save an incredible $65,000 off your new home. Find your freedom and start saving with McDonald Jones today. Conditions apply.
This report brought to you by McDonald Jones, building the Australian dream for over 35 years.
Alex de Minaur is through to the third round of the French Open for the first time in 8 attempts. The world number 11 advanced in just over 2 hours, while Thanasi Kokkinakis survived another 5-setter. Down 2 sets, the Aussie stormed home to win through to the third round, where American Taylor Fritz awaits. It'll go down as one of the great days of competitive surfing. Chopu again roaring to life for the final day of the Tahiti Pro. There were perfect 10-point rides and heavy wipeouts before Brazilian Italo Ferreira walked away with the trophy. Newcastle's Ryan Callanan was the best of the Aussies, reaching the quarterfinals. A Newcastle teenager is on track to star at the Under-20 World Athletics Championships after blitzing her Aussie rivals in the 400 metres. Gemma Pollard is smashing PBs as she chases her Olympic dream. It's meant to be the off-season, but try telling Pollard that. This is where you'll find her 4 days a week all winter after a breakout summer.
This season's been amazing for me. It's technically last season, but the Australian season we just had was amazing.
Her season capped off with a personal best in the 400 at the Canberra Track Classic.
Pollard, a personal best of 52.97.
With that run, the 19-year-old qualified for the world titles in August, where she'll enter the event as the top-ranked Australian.
It was so grateful. It's just all the hard work and love for it that got me there, and obviously my coach and friends and squad and support around me, parents, everything goes into it.
Pollard also earned a call up to the open relay team for last month's World Championships in the Bahamas.
I was first reserve for the team, but I was mixing with the girls that I raced with all season and some of the best in the Open, so that was awesome.
Rubbing shoulders with Olympians has given the Newcastle team a better idea of how to qualify for the 2028 Games.
Yeah, it's definitely achievable, 4 years away, so got plenty of time.
And making her rise all the more remarkable, the fact she's had to contend with asthma her entire career.
And I was getting to the end of the race and actually needing to be attended by the medical team a few times, but I actually saw an amazing breathing therapist at Attune Health Centres, and he really helped me overcome that barrier.
Hunter Bull Riders dominate the New South Wales team for the PBR Origin Series, with 4 now part of the side. Windella's Josh Grant, Dungog's Thomas Hudson and Singleton's John O'Cooling were all named today, joining captain Lachlan Richardson. It's now 30 years since Kurri Kurri won its second of 3 back-to-back Newcastle Rugby League premierships, and this weekend the club will celebrate that 1994 victory over the Scorpions with a rematch 3 decades in the making.
Curry's Brendan Dooley remembers it like it was yesterday.
It is a long time ago, and the old body certainly feels it, yes, no doubt about it.
He was part of the 94 Bulldogs squad that made history against the then Toronto Scorpions.
They were big moments, you know. It was a big game. We had a good side, they had a good side. You know, we knew we were up for a battle on the day. We came prepared.
Captain coach Steve Linnane's game plan was simple.
We're a working man's side, you know. We just wanted to get out there, roll the sleeves up. If everybody went out there and did their job, worked for each other, stayed strong, like there was no tomorrow.
But it was a telegram from local product turned league legend John Sattler that really got the Dogs going.
It was read out, and the last couple of lines were, it's the game today is not a matter of life or death. It's much more important than that. So we ran out with that in our heads.
80 minutes later, the written-off Curry had done the unthinkable, claiming a 20-16 win and a second premiership in as many years. Tomorrow, the club will celebrate that side when it hosts the modern-day Scorps, Macquarie.
We're very positive going into tomorrow. Had a great session last night. Everything points towards a really good performance tomorrow.
It'd be just good to get together with all the boys. You don't see a lot of the guys. No doubt we'll have a few beers and tell a few stories.
Kick-off is at 3 p.m. Montana Claire, NBN News.
Should be a cracking game.
I would think so. Thank you, Jack.
Absolutely. All right, thanks, Jack. Stay with us. Weather details next.
Helping the Sadar kids. Heartless thieves took everything. Now your overwhelming response.
Thanks for helping us.
A current affair next.
The fantastic sale is now on. Enjoy the Finlay 3-seater sofa, was $999, now $799. And save $100 off the Seville Queen bed, was $499, now $399. Shop the fantastic sale today. Find your fantastic.
Where did they get these?
Well, at Coles, we go to great lengths for quality.
Like travelling across Europe.
To find juicy heirloom tomatoes.
To grow in Australia.
Or working with Aussie pork farmers for generations. Right, guys?
Yep.
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 Because when you go to great lengths, you get great quality food that tastes...
delicious.
Great lengths for quality. Coles.
Head to Chemist Warehouse and save on big brands like Bondi Protein Co. Slim It Blend $37.99, Microgenics Mega B Complex $23.99, and Ferrograd C $19.99. Chemist Warehouse, tackle great savings this NRL season.
To celebrate the Garfield movie in cinemas, HelloFresh recipes have had a movie makeover, like this warming Italian white bean and veggie soup. Plus, you could win this limited edition Baby Garfield drink cup. Don't miss your chance to unbox a winner with HelloFresh.
Could be crispier.
Crispier.
Double breaded.
Double breaded.
Double breaded.
Double XL, I need my chicken all crispy, crispy, crispy. Double up, bucket, crispy.
Shredded. Sulla pizza.
Legos, Australian made with quality ingredients for more than 100 years. It's how we do Italian.
The Nick Scali half-yearly clearance is on now with everything reduced across the entire range. Everything is reduced at the half-yearly clearance. On now at Nick Scali.
The Hunter Volkswagen EOFY sales event is on now. Get drive-away offers on T-Roc City Life for $36,990, Volkswagen Tiguan from $43,990 and 7-seat Tiguan Allspace from $46,990. Only at Hunter Volkswagen, High Street, Maitland.
Harvey Norman clearance on now. Save $270 on the Philips Latte Go coffee machine. Save $150 on this family-size hire fridge with water dispenser. Save over $400 on the epic JBL Party Box 1000 at Harvey Norman now.
Winter is ready to announce its arrival on the first weekend, and it's going to be quite an opener to the season ahead. First of all, let's go to this morning. Dale getting a shot of the high-level cloud with the gap on the horizon. As the sun came up, it illuminated that high-level cloud moving in from the west, so the city looking quite spectacular this morning. It's already laid down solid rain of 20-30 millimetres widespread from Western Australia all the way to Tasmania. It's been very warm ahead of it. It was a far different story early this morning for early morning rises. Very mild conditions. Lots of cloud, and now the wet weather is streaming down from the northwest, and it's quite slow moving. It's like a conveyor of moisture streaming from the north, and that is moving in tonight, and it's going to be passing over us overnight and into tomorrow morning. Then that whole system is going to contract north, begin to clear. We get a little bit of a break, a little bit of a gap, and then the the low is going to form. Cold air in behind it, and now we've got another front on the way in the west. But just look at this system. There's the rain band pushing through, contracting to the north, then the low forms. So then we'll be hit by the secondary system here. Heavy rain headed for Sydney, the central coast especially, as early as tomorrow afternoon, evening, and then moving in, affecting Newcastle as we pushed to tomorrow night, overnight, and then into Sunday. We'll see strong winds, big sea swell, and heavy downpours. And now the blocking highs are losing the battle, and the fronts are beginning to win, with showers returning to Perth again, clearing in central Australia, wet and overcast right throughout the east, and fine in the north. Today, we still managed the low 20s throughout the valley, with the wet weather beginning to move in. High teens, low 20s today. So there's the winds picking up speed, and just watch this low. So that's the band moving through, and look at the low by tomorrow evening. You can see forming somewhere just off our coast, and that is going to be problematic, particularly for the central coast around the lake area. So more heavy falls on that saturated ground. There's the rain band overnight and throughout tomorrow. There's a little bit of a gap before the squally showers, heavy at times, move in overnight Saturday to Sunday. So a pretty wild first weekend of winter on the way. Very small temperature swings yet again. Still fairly mild overnight with the cloud cover, and still that warm air getting in. So very small temperature swing, almost non-existent, I would say, because it's going to be cool, wet and overcast throughout tomorrow. It's all going to change offshore. Not too bad at first throughout tomorrow, but then you've got that shift. So the whole ball game will move around over the weekend. Sun to rise 6:46, down at 5 to 5. The morning high tide early, the low tide there at 20 to 10 tomorrow. The swell still over a metre, metre and a half. So you can see some big numbers for Newcastle. It's going to be cold, it's going to be windy. It's all going to fine up as we move into early next week, and then we've got some fine days through the middle section, and then another system coming through at the end of next week. But some of that rain falling throughout the valley, where it's still very welcome, but not for the central coast, where you need to take care this weekend. Going to the surf, well, today still seeing some waves move through, fairly light winds. There's probably going to be some windows of opportunity still throughout tomorrow, but then it's going to be just out of control by the time we hit Sunday. So take care this weekend. So winter just wants to throw open the door and barge on in this year.
Yep, it's arrived. Thank you, Gav. That is NBN News for this Friday. A current affair is up next, followed by the Knights Bulldogs clash.
So thanks from all of the team. Have yourself a fabulous weekend.
Good night.
Good night.